An Open Heart by the Dalai Lama. We are on page 51. We're about to read about analytical meditation. We've just done familiarity with the chosen object. Okay, page 51. As I have said, there are two types of meditation to be used in contemplating and internalizing the subjects I discuss in this book. First, there is analytical meditation. In this form of meditation, familiarity with a chosen object, be it the car you desire or the compassion or patience you seek to generate, it's cultivated through the rational process of analysis. It is cultivated through the rational process of analysis. Sit down and analyse. Here, you are not merely focusing on a topic, rather you are cultivating a sense of closeness or empathy with your chosen object by studiously applying your critical faculties. Know your own mind, be your own person, get your own feeling about it all. This is the form of meditation I shall emphasise as we explore the different subjects that need to be cultivated in our spiritual practice. Some of these subjects are specific to Buddhist practice, some not. However, once you have developed familiarity with a topic by means of such analysis, it is important to then remain focused on it by means of settled meditation in order to help it sink in more profoundly. Analyse and then do settled meditation. We didn't call it settled meditation, we called it single pointed, but I think settled meditation is an interesting way of describing it. So you've really thought about it hard. You think, yeah, like for example, you do a meditation on love and you generate what's called generate, but you build this empathy with others and you really genuinely think, fuck, I just want people to not be hurting. And then you just hold that feeling, and holding that feeling means you become used to that feeling, sitting in that love for others. And he calls that being settled. And of course, if you are settled in something, it's more solid. It's not as forced, is it? It's coming to rest in that feeling. So I quite like that. That's nice. The second type is settled meditation. This occurs when we settle our minds on a chosen object without engaging in analysis or thought. When meditating on compassion, for example, we develop empathy for others and work at recognising the suffering they are experiencing. Sorry, I keep touching my face. This we do by means of analytical meditation. However, once we have a feeling of compassion in our hearts, once we find that meditation has positively changed our attitude towards others, we remain fixed on that feeling without engaging in thought. This helps us deepen our compassion. When we sense that our feeling of compassion is weakening, we can again engage in analytical meditation to revitalise our sympathy and concern before returning to settled meditation. It's so easy, right? You think, oh, I think I might get up. I need to go and do such and such a thing. And then you go, oh, I can't be asked. But then you go, all right, then I'll think about it. But if I go and do this, then this and this and this, and then you make a determination. You think, all right, no, I'm going to get up. And then that's when you settle. You decide. Then you get up and you go and do it. And we do settled meditation fleetingly. That between analytical and then the decision, that is, I think, like a form of settled meditation. As we become more adept, we can skillfully switch between the two forms of meditation in order to intensify the desired quality. In chapter 11, Calm Abiding, which I would love, we shall examine the techniques for developing our settled meditation to the point where we can remain focused single-pointedly on our object of meditation for as long as we wish. I mean, they mean a long time, not just briefly. They're talking about sitting for like quite a long time. Because some people just really do a lot of meditation for a long time. As I've said, this object of meditation is not necessarily something we can see. In a sense, one fuses his or her mind with the object in order to cultivate familiarity with it. Settled meditation, like other forms of meditation, is not virtuous by nature, virtuous / beneficial. Rather, it is the object we are concentrated on and the motivation with which we engage in the practice that determines our spiritual quality of meditation. Right. Rather, it is the object we are concentrated on and the motivation with which we engage the practice that determine the spiritual quality of our meditation. If our mind is focused on compassion, the meditation is virtuous. If it is placed on anger, it is not. If it is placed in pride, I'm going to be the most loving person in the world, it is not. It has to be rooted in humility and kindness. We must meditate in a systematic manner, cultivating familiarity with the chosen object gradually. Studying and listening to qualified teachers. Studying and listening to qualified teachers is an important part of this process. Well, what they say is, to be a teacher, you just need to know something more than another person. So there are loads of lamas out there. There's like Mingyur Rinpoche, and I can't think of anyone, just get like snow blindness right now. And even people who maybe I'm not convinced of their integrity or whatever, even they have something that might be worth listening to. So listening to a spiritual teacher does not necessarily mean sort of like attaching yourself to that teacher. You can listen to anybody. Anybody can be your teacher, really, but in a Dharma sense, there's all the whole internet of all these amazing people who've, like, Mingyur Rinpoche is interesting because he went and did his own retreat up in the mountains. So he's been alone on his own for a long time. So I think to be brave enough to be alone makes you interesting to me anyway. And then there's Thich Nhat Hanh. Anyway, I just won't go into, I'll leave it there. However, once we're feeling compassionate hearts, once we find them, which is positive change our attitude towards other people, I can't even remember where I was now. Oh yeah. We must meditate in a systematic manner, cultivating familiarity with our chosen object gradually. Studying and listening to qualified teachers is an important part of this process. We then contemplate what we have read or heard, scrutinising it so as to remove any confusion, misconceptions or doubts we might have. Also, what they might have. Because everyone, when you talk to them, is loading their speech with their own understandings and their own bias. Like, my bias is very much towards everyone having their own practice, not reliant on a teacher. This process itself helps affect the mind. Then when we focus on our object single-pointedly, our minds become fused with it in the desired manner. It is important that before we try to meditate on more subtle aspects of Buddhist philosophy, that we are able to keep our minds concentrated on simpler topics. This helps us develop the ability to analyse and remain single-pointedly focused on subtle topics, such as the antidote for all our suffering, the emptiness of inherent existence. That sounds very wordy, but emptiness is flipping awesome. Our spiritual, and I think emptiness actually is the reason why I'm still a Buddhist, because I need to know more about that shit. Our spiritual journey is a long one. We must choose our path with care, ensuring that it encompasses all those methods that lead us to our goal. At times the journey is steep. We must know how to pace ourselves down the snail's pace of profound contemplation, while also ensuring that we do not forget our neighbour's problem, or that of fish swimming in polluted oceans many thousands of miles away. A good example of that is the way people will think, oh, I'm going to advertise my Dharma class, I'll save all living beings, and then they don't use recycled paper. They just, and they don't have recycling facilities in their Dharma centres. And, we must choose our path with care. I mean, really, at the end of the day, if it's not chiming with your integrity, it is something that you just need to walk away from. There's so much on the internet now. Like, when I first started Buddhism, there wasn't, But there is, so, people aren't that important anymore. A bit more. Anyway, I'm sure they are a little bit important. I'm probably being a little bit biased. So that is the end of that chapter. Oops, sorry. The next chapter is the material and immaterial world. I'm not doing it now. That will be page, chapter 3, page 57. Okay, bye.